So I want to demonstrate this one, Process Explorer. And right, so I've got this machine ready. So let me take this and put it on my other screen so I can refer to it while I do it. And let's see how it goes. All right, so here is my virtual machine. It's set for nice big font, so hopefully it'll be a pretty good recording. And, okay, I want to launch x86 native command prompt tools, and I already got a problem pointing to the start button. Wonder if this will work. It does. Okay, good. So now I go to V. All right, and I've got Visual Studio, and I want x86 native tools command prompt. So here we are. Now I can write 32-bit code with Visual Studio. You can't just use an ordinary command prompt. You have to use this special command prompt for it to work. Now I can make a directory, 99, and go into there, and notepad, 99.cpp. All right. And oops, I got the space didn't make it in. Notepad, oops, there we go. Notepad space, there. Now I've created a file. Now I need to put in some data. So for that, I want a copy of the instructions inside this machine. So in here, I'm going to go to start new session. All right, there we are, Sam's class, good. And 126, projects, 105. Now I can copy the source code out of here, which is there. All right. All right. And I guess I can just minimize this. Yeah, now I can put it in here. All right, save that and close that. So that will just print some stuff. Now I think I want to compile it. Let me get my instructions. Yep, right, CL, and I used some flags, but I don't think I really need them. So CL99.cpp, that will compile it. This is Microsoft's compiler like GCC, very nice, the command line version. It has created an object code and executable code. So if I do dir, I see here's my source code, CPP for C++, here's the object code, and here's the executable code, much bigger. So I can now run 99.exe, and it prints out 99 bottles of beer on the wall, 99 bottles of beer, and then it waits for you to press enter to continue. All right. So I'm going to run it and then look at it in Process Explorer. So I'm going to run it again because it's done. Now it's waiting for me to press enter. Now I can run Process Explorer. There it is, Process Explorer. This is a 64-bit operating system, but I'm running 32-bit code. All right, so this is the operating system running all the services and stuff. This is not the code I launched. This is WinInit. And here's services, so I can minimize that. Now Explorer here is where I've logged in. Here's the Win login where I logged in. Everything below Explorer in the different color is everything launched by me, running in userland, and with my permissions. And here's the 99.exe program that's running. So that's the process. All right, I think we're going to look at the memory. Yep, first we're going to look at the DILs. So I'm going to have view, lower pane, DILs. All right, and now you see the libraries it uses. So that 99.exe uses kernel 32 and kernel base and ntdil and Windows on Windows 64 because it's 32-bit code running on a 64-bit OS. So the Windows on Windows is the library used to do that, to run, sort of like a virtual machine, to run 32-bit code on a 64-bit processor. All right, and there's some flags defined there. And now we're going to look at the properties of this thing. If I go to 99, right-click Properties, here I see a property sheet full of useful information. And I want to go to the strings here, and I want to look at the image button. So I'm now looking at the disk file. This is the 99.exe disk file, the same thing I would get if I ran bin text and looked at the disk file. So here you see this message. You always see this program cannot be run in DOS mode. Here's the PE header with the names of the sections, like text and R data and relocation and data. Here's some random junk that just looks like strings but isn't. Probably. Then it's much more random junk. Here's some Microsoft low-level libraries, these API calls. Here's some kernel 32 libraries, more libraries being called like ntdil. This is part of these. It looks like the import table. Here's some strings with days of the week and months of the year and stuff. And these are all the different languages supported by Windows. So there's some kind of multi-language library included here. I could, in principle, run this program in a different language. Here is some low-level calls here. And here are the strings that the developer put in. 99 bottles of beer on the wall, 99 bottles of beer, press enter to continue. So the strings you put in the source code are just sitting there in memory, readable. And you can see them. They're on the disk, readable. All right. And now we can look at the memory. This is the strings of the disk file. Here's the strings in RAM. And they're just the same. They'll usually be exactly the same because what goes into RAM is just an exact copy of the disk file. The only difference is each segment loads and there's little gaps between the segments, but the strings should just be the same. So if I go down here, I should find the, there they are, the strings I typed in, and all the low-level libraries and everything else are just sitting there. All right. And that's all I wanted to show you about this. This is the basic operation of a normal program running, and we'll play with other things later. But that's the joy of Process Explorer. All right, that's it for that one. I'm going to stop the recording, and that's it for tonight.